I spent a week on an alien planet where life truly is something else. Oculus Sanguinis is a so-called eyeball Earth, tidally locked towards its two suns with one massive ocean. I had a ship with more than enough provisions and fuel for the expedition. After 7 days, the main system station would come and simply pick me up from orbit. I first landed in a simple field in a warm climate to observe the vegetation before heading out to more exotic parts. Most of the vegetation is a crimson-red color due to plants having more anthocyanins. On Earth, most plants have chlorophyll, which absorbs blue and red light and reflects green light. The planet is slightly smaller than Earth, so gravity is lower. The air isn't breathable to humans at all due to how much methane there is. But then again, 78% of the Earth's atmosphere is nitrogen. Life finds a way, I guess. Having been given the responsibility of first charting this planet, I also get the perk of naming rights. I am a xenobiologist first, but my nerdy passion for language and history made me name most things here in Latin. The first creature I came across was a type of land cephalopod with 6 long legs, measuring 9 feet in height. The Plurs artist didn't pay much attention to me as it seemed that it was busy sunbathing. I am not sure if this was a photosynthesis process or something else. I haven't seen it hunt or have any carnivorous or herbivore behavior. After a short first day, I went to sleep. Nights on Oculus Sanguinis last for 7 hours with a full day cycle lasting 18. One extremely beautiful aspect about this world is that nights really look like a blood moon taken to the extreme. A good portion of plants have luminescent capabilities and the atmosphere really breathes out red light. The next day I went out to explore more. I came across a fungal biome next to what looked like a river spilling into the planetary ocean. The fungus here evolved into large gas sacs with appendages staying rooted into the water. The aquasphaera, as I named them, looked to take nourishment from the submerged soil. After closer inspection of the river, however, I found something astonishing. It was not water at all. It was a massive colony of small gelatinous bacteria I called Mare Eternitatis. It extended into the sea, and I calculated the size of this specific colony to be roughly 524 square feet. After closer observation, it seemed to have a symbiotic relationship with the aquasphaera. The colony provided nourishment and the fungus protected the biome by releasing toxic spores when anything got close. The next fauna I encountered was something I was very happy to have brought defensive equipment with me for. The Pluma pulveris was no larger than a preschooler, but it was a very fast 3-legged predator. It had some avian characteristics, however half of it was covered in a fungal organism. This is when I started realizing that there might be more to the reason why this planet is so crimson red. Fungus will be something I will keep coming across in my expedition. The Pluma pulveris was looking straight at me and seemed to take a crouched stance. I thought it would charge right at me, however it ran in a different direction. I never clenched my fist harder in my life. I returned to my ship and decided to go towards the only small patch of desert available on the planet. Oculus Sanguinis is tidally locked to its planet with the ocean facing it, so one would think there would be more desert. However, due to its distance from one of its host stars, Alpha Tempora, even the constant blistering heat is not enough to make a Sahara-like desert. Mostly sand and some red vegetation, this barren biome still harbors life. The Cuniculum ignis are somewhat similar to tube worms back in the oceans of Earth. However, these specimens feed from very deep under the sand. They also share the desert environment with Oculi inferno, a colony of small animals reminiscent in biology to fish. They seem to photosynthesize through their eyes and burrow in the sand quickly when something approaches. Aliens that eat sun through their eyes. My next stop took me closer to the opposite side of the ocean, on the dark side of the planet. I stopped in a tundra environment and life here seems to get bigger and more absurd. Here is where I found the behemoth of Oculus Sanguinis. The gargantuan Deus iudicatum. A floating cephalopod-type creature measuring over 650 feet in length. Most of its body is a sac that makes use of the plentiful methane to fly. As far as I can tell, it's the undisputed apex predator of this world as it dangles its many tentacles across the surface and lifts up prey. My observations conclude it is omnivorous. The tentacles also appear to be very sensitive to vibrations. This allows the slow-moving species to approach food sources. The tundra is no stranger to fungal creatures either. The Ornatus mendicus looks intimidating, however it is only to scare off herbivores. This specimen functions as a central hive mind for other mushroom-type growths around it. It feeds on the nutrient-rich soil it grows on. The rate at which fauna, flora and fungus are interconnected on this world is truly amazing. Sure, we have a lot of codependent species back home. Think of sharks and the parasitic copepods that clean its mouth in exchange for protection. But that pales in comparison to the level of symbiosis that biological life evolved into here. I decided to spend a couple of more days in the tundra but couldn't find any more species apart from the ones I found in the warmer climate. I then went as far into the massive dark Arctic tundra that Oculus sanguinis had that I could. The cold here truly is bad, but thankfully I have the Verne Observatory to thank for my preparation. The main lab back on Earth is located in the Svalbard archipelago in the Arctic, so my tolerance for cold got a serious upgrade. One thing about that, nights in the Arctic back home aren't the mystical dark red color that I saw on my expedition. Black sky, white snow, and crimson shadows everywhere. It really made me chuckle when I realized it was Halloween back on Earth while I was there. To make matters more spooky, I discovered the Lux mortis. A fungal growth that is fixed into the ground, it is reminiscent of the anglerfish back on Earth. By generating a green light from the top of its torso, it attracts prey. Its multiple tentacle-like appendages catch whatever is unlucky enough to be too curious. Due to the cold and perpetual darkness, I couldn't study this biome further. On my last day, I wanted to check the ocean and see if I could observe any aquatic species from above. After a half day of flying over water, I couldn't see anything of note. As my expedition and resources were coming to an end, I decided to spend my last night on solid ground. This world really captivated me. I have to admit, it takes being a bit crazy to volunteer to go on an uncharted alien world and map out what you see. Sure, we have drones we could send, but all of them are always in use. Not gonna lie, the risk bonus for this type of mission and the bragging rights on my CV definitely made it worth it. I spent my last night on top of a beautiful red meadow watching a binary sunset for the first time in my life. This was researcher Silvana Armatezza for the Verne Observatory Expedition Files.